If it looks like you're losing control, that's okay. You're Liberty Reps. It's your job to lose control. This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by Porkfest.com. Now, I like New Hampshire House Speaker Bill O'Brien. I know I've interviewed him a couple times, but he did not show up for the Nullify Now event here in New Hampshire. I was going to ask him some relatively tough questions, maybe about his position on the death penalty and stuff, which I guess passed. They're going to have a bigger death penalty or whatnot. But since he's not here, I guess I'm just going to have to imagine that he's here and imagine what I would have asked him. Speaker O'Brien, why are you not here today? I can't tell you because I'm not here. Speaker O'Brien, do you support the new expansion in the New Hampshire death penalty law and the the possible additional expenses that will result? Mr. Ridley, I can't tell you because I'm not here. House Speaker O'Brien, you have a pretty rosy relationship right now for the most part with liberty activists. How do you think your not showing up is going to affect that? You know the drill. I can't tell you because I'm not here. I guess I could go on like that, asking a lot of other questions, but that's what I've got to work with right now. At some point, we'll figure out what happened.
With their votes, however, has come a clear and unmistakable message.
It's human nature to be silent about the abuses and mistakes of political allies. This is what drives the whole U.S. system. Most Obama supporters, for example, do harbor deep concerns about his administration. I think they do anyway. But most of them are reluctant to criticize because they're afraid it might get them something even worse. And they may be right. Here in New Hampshire, of course, we have better choices, but the same problem exists. I find myself getting so caught up in defending the things that New Hampshire Republicans are getting right that I sometimes get behind on criticizing them. And criticizing them is part of my job.
Uh-oh.
What kind of political dunce would come up with the idea of restricting the civil rights of New Hampshire college students, doing unto them as the government did unto Martin Luther King? You know, some New Hampshire Republicans managed to back that idea, restricting students from voting. Fortunately, they didn't get support from the whole party, but it was embarrassing just to have them flapping their mouths. There are also problems during the attempt to install limitations on public sector unions. It did seem to me that that amendment was added kind of at the last minute. Now, when the Democrats did that sort of thing back in the late aughts, I called it a coup. Although I think what the Democrats were doing was worse. But that last minute stuff, I just don't think that's politically wise. Maybe that's partly because I don't really mind seeing angry union mobs outside the State House. I think they do our work for us. But even if that weren't the case, I still like the idea of all bills getting a little bit of time and their full public hearings. There's the Republican leadership's decision to close down the House gallery, to clear it out on March 31st. The fact that they had a bunch of angry public sector union folks up there screaming and hollering, I don't think justifies that. When someone's screaming and hollering at you, you gotta turn that to your advantage. Don't demand that tax-funded troopers fix the problem. There are even questions as to whether this was constitutional to do. The less aggressive solution would have been for the reps to bring bullhorns or loudspeakers of some kind and conduct their business at higher volume. If the union folk brought megaphones of their own, then the solution would be to conduct business in writing. Make a media show out of how tolerant you're being and get video of all the bad union behavior. If the unions do manage to completely shut down the government's business, that's okay too. No more checks get signed. No more bureaucrats get paid with your money. This is bad because... Deafening silence. Many, though certainly not all, of the influential Republicans these days are free staters. And this is not the first time in history that that phrase has been used. Free stater. We who are free staters could learn a little bit from what happened to the last free staters. By that I mean the last really interesting free staters, the ones who gained control of Southern Ireland around 1922. It was the Irish Free State, and these folks really were called free staters. After a successful rebellion against the British Empire, they came to an agreement with London, set up their own parliament of sorts. Then they proceeded to find their parliament overtaken by a different group of rebels. Rather than figure out some sort of solution, Michael Collins assaulted the Parliament building. Collins was the former rebel in charge of the Irish Free State. This in turn got him killed, and then a nastier leader put in his place, and you get the idea. Things could have gone better in Ireland. The point I'm trying to make is if you're a liberty-leaning Republican or Democrat in a New Hampshire State House, you need to think of less aggressive ways to get the liberty job done. Please, no more bills with expensive fiscal notes. No more closing down roads near the State House, if in fact that was a leadership decision. No more clearing the gallery using tax dollars. If it looks like you're losing control, that's okay. You're Liberty Reps. It's your job to lose control.
Get ready. It's the biggest liberty-oriented event of 2011, and it's happening this June 20th through the 26th. Will you be there? The Free State Project's Porcupine Freedom Festival is a week-long camping event held at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. From live performers to family fun to agorism in action, PorcFest has something for everyone who loves freedom. What are you waiting for? Be a part of the premier freedom event of 2011. Visit porcfest.com today. That's PORCFEST.com.